I'm buying his comments, but I think Jerry Jones doesn't understand the question. So when he talks about Mike McCarthy working on things in practice, there are some elements of game management you can work on as a collective, as a team. So that is, guys, we're in the 4-minute drill. We're trying to get 3 first downs to win the game. Let's make sure our running back knows he needs to go down in bounds rather than run out of bounds. It's more important to keep the clock running than get the extra yard. Or we're in the 30-second drill trying to get a fire drill field goal. We need to make sure our receiver knows if you make a catch, pick up the ball, run and hand it to the official. Don't toss it to the official. You can practice those types of things. That isn't what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, as a for instance for the audience, what's 98 divided by 7? Either you know it or you don't. If you don't know it, then you got to think. You're like, wait, how do you carry? Or you just knew it. You're like, it's 14. Mike McCarthy is
obviously 14.
The former, not the latter. He's not going to. He's had a decade to get better at this. Now, I suppose we could do flashcards with him, like I do with my 7-year-old, so she can get 98 divided by 7. But he's a 50-something-year-old man. I think we're past it. He doesn't understand time, score, situation, Broussard, and those are split-second judgments. And even when he has the extra time, and even when he is able to cheat off the referee's paper, where they're, Mike, supposed to call timeout here, buddy. That's why I'm here. He's 14, still Mike. Deer in the headlights. So I just know, I'm sure he thinks he's working at it, but he's not. And if he is, he's working the wrong way at it, and it will bite the Cowboys.
All right. To answer Jenna's question, I do agree with Nick that Jerry Jones means what he says. I think he fully believes in Mike McCarthy, no doubt about it. And I think Nick makes a great point. He's talking about game management rather than clock management. All right? I just think, Nick, you go too far. And certainly in saying that McCarthy needs to be fired, which you said earlier in the week. This guy does deserve credit. I know he doesn't call the plays, but if you got the top offensive in football, guess who gets the credit? The head coach. All right, I know you're not running the defense, but if your defense is much improved, guess who gets the credit? The head coach. So I think he's still doing a fine job. Now, behind the scenes, Jerry does need, or whether it's Jerry or Stephen Jones, maybe more would be better, they do need to be talking with Mike about the clock management. I'm with you there. Publicly, Jerry said the right thing. Privately, you need to be talking with him about these things, seeing what his thinking is. Why didn't you call this timeout? Why didn't you do this or that? Because I feel like we're seeing more and more how seconds can be the difference between a win and a loss when these teams are evenly matched. We're seeing where if you give the opponent the football with 37 seconds left now, that could be enough to lose you the game. So the clock management, Nick, I'm not belittling it. It is important. I just think you go a little too far with it. And I got to throw this in because the endorsement of Jerry Jones, while I believe he means it wholeheartedly, it can be a shaky thing because Jerry Jones endorsing you. I mean, Jerry Jones has been running this club for a long time, and they haven't been to a Super Bowl, even an NFC title game in 25 years. He just started saying that Jimmy Johnson did a good job back in the day. So I think his endorsement is shaky, but I believe he means it, Wilds.
Okay, so I think his endorsement is based on the record, Broussard. They're 5-1. They've started 5-1 14 other times. They've never missed the playoffs when they've been 5-1. They've gone to 3 Super Bowls and they've won 2. So I think Jerry is projecting out, I remember when we were in 5-1. Guess what? Turns out pretty well. But when it comes to Mike McCarthy, here's the take of the year. I think he should be working on this less, not more. I think he should delegate it out to a nerd. That's ridiculous. Like, why? Broussard, you just laid out. It's a split-second decision. You have to know all these scenarios. Just delegate it. Have it be someone's full-time job. We saw that Dan Campbell has someone out in Detroit giving him clock management, timeout management in his ear on the headset. Not telling him what to do, but say, hey, here's what the numbers say. And he got kind of ripped in the media for that. It's like, Dan Campbell, you're crying, you're eating kneecaps. He's kind of viewed less prestigious as someone like Bill Belichick is. But guess what? Matt Patricia, who came from the Lions, took his clock management over to New England, so Bill Belichick has the same type of guy. But the idea, Nick, that
right.
Mike McCarthy needs to hold on to this clock management, like if you're not a real man unless you change your own oil. You know what? Someone does it, and it's very easy. You pull in, they change your oil. It's nice and simple. Now, you're going to say, well, what does he have to do? Oh, if he doesn't call these plays, doesn't call that. Like, no, it doesn't matter. He'll have a better chance at winning the Super Bowl if they hire a nerd whose full-time job, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, is figure out clock management.
I like it.
Okay, good.
Okay,
I like
and
it,
again,
Wilds.
but you don't need 50 or 60 hours a week. You need 30 or 40 games of Madden in your life, and you have it down pat. This is not splitting an atom. This is understanding that you have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. The play clock is 40 seconds, that a touchdown can be worth 6, 7, or 8 points. You can do this stuff on an abacus and a Timex. That's all. You don't need to go to MIT. But the NFL teams have a problem with it. But hold on, real quick, though. It is not just that. We are talking about the Cowboys as a Super Bowl contender. It is about the history we have of Mike McCarthy. In the biggest moments, he gets tight. We say, oh, you can win a Super Bowl with McCarthy because the Packers did it. That year, next time we have Vic on, let's ask him about the Eagles-Packers game in the first round of the playoffs that year, when the Packers were up 11, and then Mike McCarthy, for a full quarter, took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and all of a sudden, Mike Vick's got to pass into the end zone to beat them. The Packers happen to pick off. They get to the Super Bowl that year playing Caleb Haney. Or the next time they had a chance to get to the Super Bowl, when they're up double digits. And what does McCarthy do? Take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and how does that game end? With a loss to Seattle in overtime that they had no business losing. It's that he screws up the small stuff, which is big stuff. And Jenna, once you get in the biggest moments, he plays not to lose. He has a 10-year history of it, and he promised Jerry Jones he spent a year studying analytics. That was clearly a lie, just like him watching every Cowboys play was a lie. He admitted that was a lie. He was like, no, I just wanted the job. Well, you got the job, but you're not equipped for it, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.